Welcome to FC Fan TV. I'm delighted to be joined by the one and only Lawrence Boovey.
Good to be on.
We are talking ahead of the Chelsea versus Manchester City game. This is huge.
Massive game.
It's a massive game.
Yeah.
You feeling confident?
No, because it's Chelsea and it's one of those wildcard games, and it's the classic stereotype of, you never know what you're going to get when you play a big side and one of those top six derbies, however you want to put it. We've had seasons where we've smashed at the Etihad and you've looked like a nothing side, and then there's obviously sides where you've come up and you've counter-attacked us and smashed us off the park.
Well, the one you're referring to there was one of the greatest days following Chelsea. Honestly, aside from the obvious ones, aside from Munich and aside from Amsterdam and aside from winning the league at Anfield and things like that.
Yeah.
That game at Manchester City was massive. It was season-defining.
100%.
We were losing 1-0 at half-time.
Yeah.
Antonio Conte was magnificent. We ended up winning 3-1. And
Costa was unplayable. I think it's one of the best individual striker performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, Costa was unplayable that day. Willian scored a goal, great breakaway goal, and I just remember sort of being poised. I was in the upper tier, and yeah, it was good. So I'm hoping to see more of that.
Yeah.
And what do you think of this Chelsea team? Do you feel like that kind of result is in us at the moment, or
I think you could definitely get goals. I think the way we played against Arsenal, obviously only a few days ago now, it was at times a bit porous in midfield. I think he was trying to be too smart with, referring to Pep here, a bit too smart with Gundogan, Fernandinho dropping in from centre back to CDM position. Otamendi playing there looked a little bit uncomfortable. Laporte sort of playing as a left centre back, left wing back at times. It was. Maybe I'm a traditionalist. I'm a bit old-fashioned. I like 4-3-3. I like five in midfield.
Yeah.
With two centre backs that know what they're doing. That's John Stones and Laporte. And I think a lot of our players were all over the place. And luckily, it was Arsenal who are by far the worst team in the top six. Far the worst team in the top six. So we could get through and obviously get a hat trick. Aguero got his hat trick.
Well, that's what it is. You say luckily it was Arsenal. The reason I think that it's just the magnificence of Sergio Aguero. Do you know, I put a tweet up. I said in that I just thought Sergio Aguero, at some point the conversation needs to change. Right, Chelsea not signing, in that tweet, Chelsea not signing Aguero was one of the biggest mistakes we've made. I think it was 2009 we ended up signing Torres for more money in a slightly different window. But we've never really recovered from not signing Aguero, and it was all set for us. I went to Atletico Madrid. Right? They bashed us. But Aguero scored two that day. He scored a free kick, but he scored this volley right in front of us. And you know when it's dropping out of the air and you can see it, and
the connection's there.
Yeah, you just know. You just know that it's going to hit the back of the net. And that day, you kind of felt like this is Chelsea's new signing. This is exactly what we need. And you beat us to the punch, and it still haunts me.
Yeah.
I think that now Sergio Aguero. In fact, put this tweet up as well. Now Sergio Aguero needs to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
That isn't. So when we discuss best Premier League strikers ever.
Yes. Yeah.
It generally goes like this. I think it generally goes.
99. The thing about this debate is always Henri Shearer, and that's the interesting thing, because I think in all walks of life, in football, there's always debates about the fullbacks, the goalkeeper, who's the best midfielder in Premier League history. It's also about flavour, it's about taste and what you like as a footballer. But Henri and Shearer always win the argument, always.
Yes, I think it kind of goes like this. I think it goes Henri Shearer. Actually, I probably think it goes Shearer Henri.
Really?
And then I think it goes honourable mention to Didier Drogba.
Yeah, 100%.
And for me, on a purely personal level, I throw Dennis Bergkamp into the conversation.
Yeah, or if you class them as a CM, it depends how you play the formation. Obviously, I think it's standard 4-4-2 with the sort of players that you have to choose from in the Premier League era. I think Aguero is better than Shearer on every aspect of football. Maybe except the heading. I just don't think that you can ever argue with 260 goals. I think
you just can't argue that. And he had a season out for being it,
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. The issue for me is, they contributed to Newcastle not winning a single trophy. I know it's not his fault, but.
Imagine how many he would have scored if he had signed for Manchester United.
So the question is, if Aguero had the same run in the Newcastle side with all the players that Shearer played with, some of these great players, Solano and Ginola and players like that, would Aguero have got a similar amount of goal return?
Probably.
So, and then what's Aguero? What can Aguero do individually? He can drop deep better, in my opinion. Better dribbler. Equally as lethal finisher.
What, so my question here is, when does the conversation, not just between us, because we seem to be on a pretty similar page, but when does the conversation in the ether of football change and allow Sergio? Because Sergio Aguero generally doesn't make this. Nobody says it.
I think it's the context of the club. I think it's Man City is a sort of the way, obviously where we've come from as a bit of a smaller club. Spending all that money, he's come in. I think. Newcastle are a romantic club. I think they're seen as, of course, they're a historic club, massive stadium. I think in 10, 15 years, when you look at how good he was, even the first header against Arsenal, that was an exception. It was a terrible ball from Laporte.
Yeah.
It was a terrible ball.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he gets it across the defender, but Aguero makes it sort of, he reverses his head into the ball and gets it on target.
I think that's also part of his brilliance. Part of what makes Aguero so good for me is it's the variety of goal. He's good at tapping, he's good outside the box, he's about my height and he's mustard in the air. Like, he really is like the full package, isn't he? But doesn't get the plaudits. No,
I think Henry, I think he's the best striker in Premier League. I think he will remain that forever. And unless Harry Kane does something silly and he joins United and wins 5 Premier League titles, I don't think he's going to win a Premier League at Spurs. And unless that happens, I think it's going to be Aguero, Henry and Shearer for the next 10, 15 years in the debate.
Yeah.
Who knows what happens with Rashford, players like that, very young players.
Yeah.
But I think individually, Aguero's better than Shearer in every aspect, except maybe the physicality that obviously a bigger guy like Shearer's going to have.
Yeah. Although he's not a coward, Aguero, is he?
No, he's not. He's physical. He holds up the ball. He's improved under Pep.
Yeah.
And he's actually, his new dynamics to his game. He proved at Atletico, obviously, when you watched him as well. He can actually play as a sort of inside forward as well.
Yeah.
He can come deep for the ball.
He's a brilliant player, and like I said, Chelsea have never recovered from not signing him. So with him in your team, leading the line against our back line that's slightly reshaped. Rudiger was injured last week. So perhaps Christensen starts again.
I wouldn't mind that.
Wrong. Yeah,
he's a good prospect.
Do you feel like you're gonna? Are you confident? You need to win this game.
Yeah, of course.
It's a must-win game.
Yeah.
Are you going to win it?
I think we'll beat you 2-1, 3-1. I think you'll get a goal. I think you're more prolific than Arsenal sort of going forward. I think your midfield's way stronger than theirs, and I think it's close to. If you get the right goal at the right time in the game, you might actually win the game. I'm not going 100%. We're going to win it. I think it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
And especially with Higuain, you never know. Some of the goals he scored, obviously against Huddersfield, the finish, sort of from the near post finish, and then that sort of curler.
Yeah.
So he could pop up and do anything at the Etihad. I have no idea what the guy's going to do. Brilliant prospect.
If we are to beat you, what do we have to do? What do we have to exploit? Where's the weak link in this City team?
For me, that when you've always beaten us, some sides can get at us from a long ball in or a corner or a free kick, a dead ball situation. You've always done it through the middle of the park.
Yeah.
I remember Willian man marking Yaya Toure off the pitch when we played you a few seasons ago under Mourinho. So if you can get someone like Kante touch tight to Fernandinho, it remains to be seen. I don't know where Kante, what's happening with Kante. I think that's it's a crazy debate.
He's got other things on his plate at the moment. Yeah. He's busy creating goals.
I'm sorry, but you're playing that ball into Higuain against Huddersfield. You are. I am. You know what I mean? The amount of space Higuain had to run it. It's not some miraculous ball in, is it? You know,
it was an intelligent flick, and
yes,
I think a lot of the time certain players don't make the intelligent pass. It's not that they can't do it, and it's picking the wrong pass.
Yeah.
And that actually makes a good player flawed. Like Sean Wright-Phillips would have won a Ballon d'Or if he picked the right pass. Genuinely, it was like. He was a marvellous football player, but an idiot.
I think so.
What are you doing? So often picking the right pass shouldn't be overlooked or underestimated. And the fact that Kante's doing that,
of course, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I still think you cannot be a manager like Sarri under the amount of pressure that he's under. Obviously, I believe you've changed your sort of structure to get Higuain in, haven't you, in the first place? So that puts a lot of pressure under Sarri. That's a lot of pressure for the guy. There's no clear strategy, I think it's fair to say, at Chelsea in terms of what you're going after. You're going to back Sarri for 3-4 years with this philosophy. Obviously, there's rumours that you could go out. Obviously, Sophie mentioned
not if we listen to Sophie, no.
Well, exactly. so there's a lot of pressure under Sarri already, and obviously, you're not going to win the League Cup, in my opinion. So.
Of course, we'll have to do all this again very
exactly.
soon. Maybe we'll come back on and have another
100%,
chat.
Yeah.
Superb, Boovy. Thank you so much. What's your Twitter handle?
Just Lawrence Bury, and then my YouTube's just Boovy. So.
Wonderful. Okay, and thank you all so much for watching this video. We really do appreciate it. Please click the subscribe button if you haven't done it, and most importantly, comment below. Let us know what do you think about this game, and let us know your score predictions. Both Boovy and I will be in the comments to see what you have to say. Go on, you Blues.